They called her Ghost Girl, not because she was invisible, but because she should have been dead. Destiny's reflection no longer startled her. 3 years since the fire. 3 years since Marcus held her down while his new girlfriend poured accelerant across her face and chest, laughing about how no one keeps what I throw away. The scars had faded from angry red to silver white, a topographic map of betrayal running from her left temple down her neck. Seoul had become her refuge by accident, deported after the assault when her student visa expired during her 6-month hospital stay, with no one back in Atlanta who cared enough to fight for her return. Now she cleaned floors in the Baekho Tower, 5th shift, the hours when legitimate businessmen went home and men in expensive suits with cold eyes conducted their real work. She perfected invisibility. Keep moving, eyes down, earbuds in even when the battery died. The marble floors reflected everything, including the night Ha-jun's deal went wrong. The gunshot made her drop her mop. The body hit the floor 12 feet away. And when she looked up, frozen, the man standing over the corpse with a smoking pistol wasn't looking at his kill. He was staring directly at her. "You! Come here!" That's when her new life began. The mop made soft swishing sounds against marble, rhythmic as breathing. Destiny had learned to move like water, present but unnoticed, flowing around obstacles. Tonight the obstacles wore Brioni suits and carried guns and shoulder holsters they thought she couldn't see. She was emptying trash near the conference room when the door burst open. A man stumbled out, pleading in Korean she'd learned not to understand. Ha-jun Kong followed, expression carved from ice. The shot echoed like thunder in the Cathedral Height lobby. Destiny's hands tightened on the mop handle. "Don't run. Running makes you memorable." The body sprawled 15 feet away, blood spreading across marble she'd waxed yesterday. Ha-jun's eyes found hers. Dark, assessing, dangerous. She should scream, cry, faint. Instead, she heard herself ask, "Do you need that cleaned tonight? Or can it wait until after my shift?" Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe. Interest, definitely. "Bring her," he said to the men flanking him. They escorted her to the executive floor, to an office decorated in minimalist steel and glass. Ha-jun sat behind a desk worth more than her yearly salary, studying her the way scientists study specimens. "Your name?" "Destiny Robinson." "You're not afraid, Miss Robinson?" She met his gaze, letting him see the scars that disappeared beneath her collar. "I've already survived the worst thing that could happen to me." His eyes narrowed with fascination. The black sedan appeared 3 days running. Different drivers, same watchful eyes. Destiny pretended not to notice, but her apartment suddenly felt like a cage with invisible bars. Ha-jun arrived on Thursday, letting himself in with a key she'd never given him. He filled her cramped studio with his presence, expensive cologne clashing with her discount air freshener. "You witnessed a crime. You're under my protection now." "I don't want your protection." She kept her voice steady. "I want my life back." "Your life includes being alive, Miss Robinson. I'm ensuring that continues." He didn't raise his voice, didn't threaten. Somehow that made it worse. She tried to refuse. He simply nodded, left without argument. She should have known better. The explosion came at 2 a.m., windows shattering inward, flames licking up the walls. Destiny's screams died in her throat as fire consumed her vision, her past, her control. Strong hands dragged her into the hallway, down emergency stairs, into cold night air. She woke in a bed softer than clouds, bandages on her arms where glass had cut. A silver-haired doctor was packing his bag. Ha-jun stood by the window, perfectly still. "Welcome to my home," he said. "You'll stay here until you're safe." He moved toward her. She flinched. He froze mid-step, then approached more slowly, hands visible. "I won't hurt you," he said quietly. She wanted to believe him. That terrified her most of all. The penthouse was all glass and steel, Seoul glittering 40 floors below like scattered diamonds. Staff appeared and disappeared like ghosts, leaving meals, changing linens, never meeting her eyes. They treated her like fragile crystal, something valuable that might shatter. Marcus had treated her like garbage he'd forgotten to throw out. She'd loved him once, believed his promises about forever. Then he'd found someone new, someone without stretch marks or opinions that challenged his. The night she confronted him, his girlfriend had smiled and struck the match. Let's see if anyone wants you now. The hospital, the deportation, the mirror she'd avoided for months. Ha-jun's dinner invitations came nightly. She refused them all. He adapted, sending fried chicken, mac and cheese, cornbread that tasted like her grandmother's kitchen. How did he know? She found him on the balcony past midnight, expensive whiskey catching moonlight. His shoulders carried invisible weight. I lost someone once, he said without preamble. My sister. She was 17. Trusted the wrong person. Destiny understood loss that carved you hollow. I trusted someone too. He decided I wasn't worth keeping whole. Ha-jun turned, eyes finding her scars. No pity softened his expression. People who've been burned recognize fire in others. His hand covered hers on the railing. Warm. Steady. She didn't pull away. Not immediately. The dermatologist's office smelled like antiseptic and false hope. Ha-jun had arranged the appointment, insisted she explore treatment options. Destiny was leaving when the woman in the tailored suit stepped into her path. Diana Ross. FBI credentials flashed. I'm Agent Sarah Chen. We need to talk. Wrong person. Destiny moved to pass. Federal witness protection. Evidence against the Baekho and Kiansa syndicates. You disappeared 3 years ago with documents that could dismantle both organizations. Destiny's stomach dropped. Diana. Her cellmate during that nightmare week in county lockup, the one who'd borrowed her ID to make commissary purchases. I'm not Diana. I haven't seen her since. Save it for interrogation. You're coming with me. Destiny ran. Chin shouted behind her but didn't pursue. Outside, she called Ha-jun's driver with shaking hands. Ha-jun's face went arctic when she explained. My office. Now. His questions came like bullets, sharp, precise, deadly. Are you Diana Ross? No. I told you. Did you lie about who you are? Ha-jun, please. Answer me. The hurt carved deeper than any blade. You don't trust me. Glass exploded inward. Gunfire erupted. Ha-jun shoved her behind his desk as Kiansa soldiers poured through shattered windows. Destiny grabbed a letter opener, drove it through an attacker's hand with vicious precision. They fought back to back, breath ragged, movement synchronized. Afterward, surrounded by bodies, Ha-jun pulled her close. Their faces inches apart. He stopped, stepped back. Not until I know everything. The words shattered something irreparable between them. The intelligence reports painted impossible pictures, Diana Ross with 6 different aliases, fingerprints that didn't match, sightings in 3 countries simultaneously. Sung-ho delivered the final document personally, sympathy oiling his voice. She's been playing you, boss. The scarred woman act. Perfect cover. Ha-jun's sister had trusted someone once. That trust had gotten her killed. He found Destiny in the library reading. She looked up, smiled, then saw his face and the smile died. Tell me the truth about Diana Ross. I already did. Stop lying. His hand slammed the desk. Who are you really? I'm the woman you're supposed to trust. Tears streaked her face. Diana was my cellmate for 1 week. She borrowed my ID once. I gave it to her because she was kind when everyone else treated me like a monster. Then we got released and I never saw her again. He wanted to believe her. His sister's bloodstained dress said otherwise. Get out! Destiny's voice went hollow. I've survived worse than killers, Ha-jun. I won't survive another man who thinks I'm worthless. She walked out. He let her go. 3 blocks away, a van screeched to a stop. Hence dragged her inside. Sung-ho watched from across the street, smiling. Ha-jun's head of intelligence burst into his office an hour later. Boss, we found her. The real Diana Ross. Different person. Different. Ha-jun's world tilted. He just destroyed the only thing that mattered. For the first time since his sister died, his hands shook. Ha-jun mobilized every soldier, called in every favor, burned every bridge. Seoul's underworld would drown in blood until he found her. Min-suk's questions came like scalpels, precise and endless. Where's the evidence Diana Ross stole? I don't have it. I'm not her. Everyone breaks eventually. But destiny had already been broken by an expert. Marcus had taught her that survival meant enduring. She met Min-suk's eyes and refused to flinch. Meanwhile, Ha-jun's cousin found the discrepancies, wire transfers, encrypted messages. Sung-ho had orchestrated everything, feeding intelligence to both syndicates, engineering a war that would eliminate both bosses and leave him king. Ha-jun's assault was surgical fury. Kyeonsa's soldiers fell like dominoes. He moved through their stronghold like death incarnate, focused on one impossible goal. Find her. Save her. Beg forgiveness. Destiny heard the gunfire, used the distraction to slip her restraints. She fought through corridors with stolen weapons and raw desperation. They collided in a hallway, his hands framing her bloodied face like she was oxygen itself. I'm sorry I didn't trust you. I'm sorry I let fear win. But I'm here now, and I'm not leaving without you. Touching. Sung-ho emerged from shadows, gun leveled. You'll die together. How romantic. The shot cracked. Destiny moved faster, throwing herself between Ha-jun and the bullet. Pain exploded through her shoulder. Ha-jun caught her with one arm. With the other, he killed Sung-ho. Brutal, methodical, final. Stay with me, he whispered, carrying her through smoke and chaos. Please, Destiny. Stay. Destiny woke to the steady beep of monitors, and Ha-jun's hand wrapped around hers. He looked destroyed, 2 days of stubble, clothes rumpled, eyes haunted. You're awake! His voice cracked. You stayed. I'll always stay. He pressed her knuckles to his lips. My sister. She trusted someone in my organization. He sold her location to rivals for $30,000. I found her body in a warehouse. I was 22. I vowed never to trust anyone again. Tears tracked down his face. Then you walked into my life and made me want to be human again. I'm sorry I failed you. I love you, Destiny whispered. But I'm terrified of your world, of disappearing into it. The door opened. A woman entered, familiar somehow. Dark hair, nervous eyes. I'm Diana Ross, she said. The real one. I used your ID in lockup to get into witness protection. Then I ran when I realized the FBI couldn't save me. I've been hiding ever since. She offered Ha-jun a flash drive. Everything's here. The FBI gets this, I get immunity, and Destiny's name gets cleared. News came hours later, Min-suk dead, killed by his own fractured organization. I'll leave the syndicate, Ha-jun said. For you, I'll walk away from everything. Destiny caught his face. I don't want you to be someone else. I want you to be you, but safe. They found middle ground. His cousin would lead. Ha-jun would step back, maintain influence from shadows. Together, they'd build something new. 6 months transformed everything. Destiny's nonprofit occupied a renovated building in Itaewon, serving burn survivors and domestic violence victims. Ha-jun's legitimate investments funded it. Their therapy sessions, individual and together, were rebuilding what trauma had broken. Ha-jun brought her to Atlanta in spring. The house stood exactly as she remembered, but better, renovated, alive again. It's yours, he said. We can live here. Seoul, anywhere you want. I'm done chasing power. I only want you. Destiny walked through rooms filled with childhood ghosts, now exorcised. I choose Seoul. Not because I'm trapped there, but because I've built a life. This house is proof I'm not running anymore. The wedding was intimate. His cousin, trusted friends, her nonprofit team. Diana came, thriving in her own fresh start. Ha-jun's vows were simple. You saw me as human when I'd forgotten I was. You chose me when no one else would. I'd choose you every day for the rest of my life. Destiny's voice was steady. You didn't fix me. You didn't save me. You saw me, scars and strength and everything between. And you showed me I was always worthy of being chosen. I choose you too. That night, she caught her reflection in the penthouse window. Ha-jun's arms circled her from behind. She met her own eyes without flinching, without shame. They said no man would ever choose her. They were right, because she'd chosen herself first. And then she'd chosen him. 6 months transformed everything. Destiny's nonprofit occupied a renovated building in 81, serving burn survivors and domestic violence victims. Ha-Jun's legitimate investments funded it. Their therapy sessions, individual and together, were rebuilding what trauma had broken. Ha-Jun brought her to Atlanta in spring. The house stood exactly as she remembered, but better, renovated, alive again. "It's yours," he said. "We can live here. Seoul, anywhere you want. I'm done chasing power. I only want you." Destiny walked through rooms filled with childhood ghosts, now exorcised. "I choose Seoul. Not because I'm trapped there, but because I've built a life. This house is proof I'm not running anymore." The wedding was intimate. His cousin, trusted friends, her nonprofit team. Diana came, thriving in her own fresh start. Ha-Jun's vows were simple. "You saw me as human when I'd forgotten I was. You chose me when no one else would. I choose you every day for the rest of my life." Destiny's voice was steady. "You didn't fix me. You didn't save me. You saw me, scars and strength and everything between. And you showed me I was always worthy of being chosen. I choose you too." That night, she caught her reflection in the penthouse window. Ha-Jun's arms circled her from behind. She met her own eyes without flinching, without shame. They said no man would ever choose her. They were right, because she'd chosen herself first. And then she'd chosen him. 6 months transformed everything. Destiny's nonprofit occupied a renovated building in 81, serving burn survivors and domestic violence victims. Ha-Jun's legitimate investments funded it. Their therapy sessions, individual and together, were rebuilding what trauma had broken. Ha-Jun brought her to Atlanta in spring. The house stood exactly as she remembered, but better, renovated, alive again. "It's yours," he said. "We can live here. Seoul, anywhere you want. I'm done chasing power. I only want you." Destiny walked through rooms filled with childhood ghosts, now exorcised. "I choose Seoul. Not because I'm trapped there, but because I've built a life. This house is proof I'm not running anymore." The wedding was intimate. His cousin, trusted friends, her nonprofit team. Diana came, thriving in her own fresh start. Ha-Jun's vows were simple. "You saw me as human when I'd forgotten I was. You chose me when no one else would. I choose you every day for the rest of my life." Destiny's voice was steady. "You didn't fix me. You didn't save me. You saw me, scars and strength and everything between. And you showed me I was always worthy of being chosen. I choose you too." That night, she caught her reflection in the penthouse window. Ha-Jun's arms circled her from behind. She met her own eyes without flinching, without shame. They said no man would ever choose her. They were right, because she'd chosen herself first. And then she'd chosen him.